would you say was the key for you building the muscle mass you did?
Oh man, you know what? That's such a good question. I would put it down to
what was your training split like? That's the same thing I ask everyone this question on podcasts if they're fitness related.
It's a great question though.
And like I had a good friend of mine, George Cruz, was on it the other day, who plays rugby for England and Saracens.
Yes.
And he said exactly the same thing. It's just consistency. It's the same with business. Everything is day in, day out. Just if you get 1% better every day, but you do that for 365 days, you do that for 3, 4, 5 years, suddenly you're at an elite level of whatever it is you want to do.
And in the moment, it's actually hard to not realize that. And we lose sight of that because we get impatient, right? And we live in this...
I'm the worst for that as well.
Oh, me too. We live in this microwave society where we all want it yesterday. And I hold my hands up. I'm very impatient because I know what I want. And when things are very slow, you kind of get a little bit frustrated. But the thing I always loved about bodybuilding, it was all on me. And where you control all the variables. So for me, it was, I think for persistence was, and doing my 10,000 hours, I was a student. I just became a student of the game. And I just looked up to people that I wanted to be like Sean Ray. He was the reason why I idolized him so much, because the way he conducted himself as a professional, the way he looked, he didn't have a weak body part on him. And he always showed up on stage in shape every single year. And he was a little bit opinionated, but I think that was part of his character. And that's something that I really appreciated. Yeah, it made him different. It made him stand out from the crowd. So why would you want to be different? That's the thing about us human beings, is that we're all unique. We all have these gifts. If everyone was the same, it would be very, very boring and very laborious too, right?
100% agree. On the obviously this isn't a bodybuilding podcast, but something I have to bring up. What was your opinion on Sean Roden turning up? I don't know, I presume you saw, I think it was the Pittsburgh show, completely out of shape. Would you agree that was a bad idea, or?
So, you know what, I actually didn't see, but I kind of heard, I think Sean Ray gave his 2 cents on it, but yeah, I mean, Sean's a professional, right? Both they are, and Sean Roden's a professional. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if you are Mr. Olympia, and I know Sean Roden, he's a great man. He really is a great ambassador for the sport, very humble person, and really wants to help people too. But I also see, if you're a professional and you're the number one guy on the planet, then it is your duty to stay in shape year round. I think you have to at that level.
Just don't go on the stage,
Yeah, you just don't show up. If you're out of shape, then just don't show up. And I think that's something that I have to commend you for, is that you're in shape year round, and that's something that I don't really see very often.